You want to be a better defender. You watch Kawhi, Marcus Smart, and Jrue Holiday shut people down every night. And you're thinking, how do they do that? Or maybe you're just tired of being the guy offenses hunt. Tired of getting blown by posted up or embarrassed in front of your team. If that's you, stay locked in because this video will change the way you defend. Defense is a skill, a real learnable skill built on angles timing, balance and control, not genetics, not athleticism, not luck. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how elite defenders win possessions and how you can guard anyone fast, shifty, or strong. So let's fix the biggest misunderstanding right now. Defense isn't effort, defense is calculation. Most players think good defense is just about trying harder, sprint more, slide more, sweat more. But trying harder without understanding how defense actually works doesn't make you a better defender. It just makes you look busy. Real lockdown defenders don't chase the ball. They don't react late. They don't slide around hoping something magically works. They play defense like it's chess reading patterns, predicting moves, and shutting things down before they even happen. And to get to that level, you need to shift the way you think about defense. The first shift is understanding that angles matter more than speed. You don't need to outrun the offensive player, you only need to take away the angle they want. Guys like Jrue Holiday and Alex Caruso do this every night. They're rarely the fastest players on the court, but their angles make them almost impossible to beat. When you control the angle, you control the possession. The second shift is realizing that the entire battle is decided in the first 0.3 seconds, not when the crossover happens, not at the release of the shot. The moment the ball handler shifts their weight, the direction is already chosen. Most players react when the ball bounces. Elite defenders react to the hips and the feet before the ball even hits the floor. And the third shift is learning that contact is information. Bad defenders avoid contact because they're scared of fouls. Great defenders use light legal contact, a forearm on the hip, a small bump on the drive, not to stop the offensive player, but to feel their rhythm and direction. With just a bit of controlled pressure, you can sense where they want to go before they actually go there. The moment you stop guessing and start feeling defense becomes much easier. Before we talk about angles or timing, before we talk about reading hips or beating first steps, you have to fix the three basics that every lockdown defender masters. These are the foundations, and if even one of them is off, your entire defense falls apart. Let's start with your stance. Most players think they're in a defensive stance until they see themselves on video. A real stance isn't a squat and it's not a stiff crouch. It's simply your hips sitting just low enough to explode, sideways your chest angled toward the ball and your weight balanced evenly so you're not leaning on one leg. The whole point isn't to look defensive, it's to stay balanced because balance wins first steps. Then comes your footwork, and honestly, this is the part almost nobody trains. Good footwork isn't endless sliding like those old school drills, and it's not hopping around like your feet are tied together. It's about small, quick adjustments that keep you ready to move in any direction. Elite defenders don't think in separate steps. They blend everything together: a slide to cut off the angle, a short sprint to recover, then another slide to square up. It's one smooth combo. Bad defenders mix that up. They sprint when they should slide and slide when they should sprint. And then there's distance control, the silent killer in most matchups. If you're too far, the offensive player shoots comfortably. If you're too close, you're getting blown by. Great defenders find that perfect middle space, close enough to contest but far enough to react. And they adjust based on who they are guarding. A shooter gets less space, a slasher gets a little more, a shifty guard gets your eyes on their hips. A strong driver gets body contact early so they can't build momentum. Most players never learn this. They play defense in panic mode, always lunging, always recovering, always reacting late. But when you master these three fundamentals, you finally get structure. You finally get control. And once you have control, you can start reading the ball handler because at that point, the game becomes much simpler. And it starts with one truth every great defender knows: the hips never lie. Now that you have the structure, you need the vision, the ability to actually read the person in front of you. Most players stare at the ball because that's what they were told growing up. But the ball is the last thing to move. By the time it tells you the direction, the drive already happened. Lockdown defenders watch something completely different. They watch the body. And the first place their eyes go is the hips. The hips don't fake. Handles fake, shoulders fake, eyes fake, but the hips always point to the real direction. If the hips rotate even a little to one side, that's where the drive is going. If they open toward the middle is coming. Once you train your eyes to see that you start reacting before the move has even begun. But it's not just the hips. The inside foot tells you just as much because every explosive drive starts by loading that foot. Watch any quick guard closely and you'll see it. Before they go, the inside foot settles the heel, lifts a bit, the body shifts, and that's the launch. If you match that moment, instead of chasing the dribble, you're suddenly in control. And then there's rhythm. Good ball handlers don't just attack, they set you up. They slow down, they pause, they take 2 relaxed dribbles, and then explode. Most defenders fall for the slow part because the slow part makes them stand upright. But if you learn to read rhythm, the pace, the pauses, the small hesitations, you stop reacting to fakes and start reacting to intentions. And once you can read the player, the next step is using that information to position yourself in the one place that kills every drive, the angle. Reading the ball handler is one thing, but stopping them starts with your angles. You don't beat a drive by being faster. You beat it by being in the one spot they need to get to. When you take away the middle, the court shrinks. When you sit on their strong hand, their best move disappears. And when your inside foot beats their inside foot, the drive dies before it starts. You don't have to fully block the lane, just cutting it off by a few inches forces them into a worse option. A bad pull-up, a slow step back, or a drive straight into your chest. That's why defenders like Jrue Holiday or Marcus Smart look unshakable. They're not reacting faster. They're already standing in the right angle. Angles win possessions. Effort only matters after the angle is lost, and once the angle is yours, your hands take over. Your feet control the angles, but your hands control the possession. Most defenders lose here because they reach. Reaching pulls you off balance, creates fouls, and gives the offense exactly what they want. Great defenders don't reach. They manage space with their hands. One hand stays low to bother the dribble. One hand stays high to disrupt the pickup or the shot. Quiet, controlled, always under balance. You're not trying to steal the ball on every dribble. You're trying to make the ball handler uncomfortable, mess up their rhythm, delay their gather, force them into a decision they don't want. And when you swipe, you don't swipe at the ball. You swipe at the dribble pocket, that brief moment when the ball is exposed on the side. It's not about being quick with your hands, it's about being on time. Stay balanced, stay patient, stay present. Your hands aren't weapons, they're pressure. And that pressure leads to stops. But to shut down a possession completely, you have to win the moment. Every offensive player relies on the first step. If you lose the first step, you lose the entire possession. Most players react when the ball hits the floor, and by then it's already too late. The drive starts before the dribble. The real signal is the body, the hips, turning the inside foot, loading the shoulders, dipping. That tiny weight shift decides the direction long before the ball moves. Your job is simple match that shift, not the dribble. And once you see it, don't take huge slides. Huge slides make you slow and stiff. Use small, sharp steps so you can change direction instantly. Then meet the drive early, not under the rim, not in the paint, right at the launch point. One controlled bump, one firm chest angle, and you break their momentum before it even builds. Win the first step, and everything gets easier because now you can use your body to take control of the entire drive. Which brings us to the next piece, using contact the right way. Bad defenders avoid contact because they're scared of fouls. Great defenders use contact to control the drive. And it's not about pushing, it's about feeling. A light forearm on the hip tells you where they want to go. A small bump at the first step kills their momentum. A solid chest angle forces them into a worse lane. You're not trying to overpower them, you're trying to interrupt their rhythm. Meet them early before they get downhill. Stay low so you win the leverage battle, and keep your chest in front so they can't shield the ball. When you use contact correctly, even stronger players feel uncomfortable. Their drives become slower, their gather gets messy, and their finish becomes predictable. You're not playing physical defense, you're playing controlled defense. Once you can do that, you're ready for the hard part, guarding different types of players. Because a fast guard, a strong wing, and a pure shooter all require a completely different approach. Not every player attacks the same way, so you can't defend everyone the same way. Here's how you adjust quickly and effectively. Fast players don't try to outrun them. Give them a small cushion, force them away from the middle, and make them change direction. Speed is deadly in a straight line, so make the path crooked. Strong players. You can't absorb their momentum at the rim. Meet them early. Give them a bump before the build speed and sit on their dominant shoulder so they can't finish comfortably. Shooters. Your job isn't to block the shot, it's to break the rhythm. Close out under control, stay grounded, hand high. Make them put the ball on the floor. Most shooters drop their accuracy immediately once they dribble. Shifty players ignore the ball, watch the hips and the inside foot, match their pauses, match their pace, and force them into a predictable direction. Once you can adjust to every style, you're no longer just defending, you're solving matchups. And all that's left now is the part that keeps your defense consistent, your habits. Great defense isn't about one big stop. It's about habits, the small things you do on every possession. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most players. Most people want to be better defenders, but they never study it and they never train it. But you're here, you're locked in, you're building the skill most players ignore. So take action. And in the comments, tell me, which type of player do you struggle to guard the most? I'll break it down for you.